The third thing about the text I want to share with you is that we all have restoration. Now notice this. Jesus has a chance to quote-unquote condemn her. What's he say? What does he say? He says, I condemn you not. I cast not any judgment upon you today. Jesus said, I came to what? Restore all things to me. That includes you. That Jesus is about restoring you here in the present, right now, where you sit, as you are, with all the junk you have. He is not, he's not scared off by it. He is not grossed out by it. He is waiting simply for you to do one thing. Jesus. You see, often we tell people, well, go to Jesus, go to Jesus. Well, I read Luke 15, the prodigal son. He didn't even make it home, did he? The Father met him. When we're dealing with restoration, and by the way, this is not the panacea, beginning and end of advice. I am not Dr. Phil, and I am not a counselor, but these are three things that have worked for me in dealing with restoration. We got to own it first. Notice the lady never once says, oh, I didn't do it. But she was caught. She was found out. Been there. Secondly, pick up. Calling. What do I mean by that? Well, after you own your own junk, and we all have the skeletons in the junk, after you own it, go, yeah, this is what I do. That's when you say, Jesus, I need you. And the third thing is find others. Ever notice Jesus didn't travel alone? That's pretty interesting. Even though he was without sin and knew not sin, he had a group of 12, and 3 of those were really his close friends. What about Paul, the official original church planter? He had people everywhere. He's always thanking someone for hosting him. He's always thanking people for traveling with him. Why? Because in community, you have people, not so much that hold you accountable, though I guess that does happen, but you have people who pray with you and talk with you and work with you and walk with you. There are great communities, by the way, outside of StoryLine Church. There are other church communities. And here's the walkaway point. Allow yourself to be loved. I had to prayerfully let God rewrite for me what it means to walk in grace and walk with him. Well-meaning churches with wonderful people. But I began to learn, golly, maybe just 3 or 4 years ago, what it means to allow myself to be loved. We don't know what happens to this woman after Jesus says, I condemn you not. We don't know if she went out and made more bad decisions. She may have. He said, sin no more. And by the way, he wasn't asking for perfection there. Part of that was what you're doing is not really working out well for you. Sin no more, lest you get yourself in worse situations. But allowing yourself to be loved, she allowed that day. She didn't throw up her hands as a martyr and go, oh no, Rabbi, that's okay. Let them stone me. Oh no, Rabbi, that's all right. I'm guilty. I should be beaten and whipped and dragged through the city. Oh, no, Jesus, I don't deserve that. In fact, I don't even think they should stone me. They should throw pebbles at me until I pass out from exhaustion. You say, that's ridiculous, Jared. That's what we do to ourselves. We stand there in front of Jesus, the Messiah, and he has said, I condemn you not, go and sin no more. You see, religion says, do more and I will accept you. Jesus says, I accept you, period. And from that, I will take your life to realms you never dreamed through relationship. And what do? I know what I do. I'm like, oh, I don't deserve that. I can't believe I'm called to be a pastor. I'm a former political consultant. Need I say more? You can laugh. I do, every day. I walk sometimes and look at my past and my past decisions, and I think to myself, oh, I am not worthy, and that's very true. But the song that we sang this morning, Amazing Grace that saved a wretch like me, we pound the snot out of the word wretch, but we forget that the song is about God, not about us. Amazing Grace that saved a wretch like me. He wants relationship with me. Allow yourself to be loved by the true and living God. Now watch this. I am not talking about the love that says this. I know God loves me because he has to. He's love. No. I'm not talking about when you look at people and say, oh, I love them. Right? You just came to the holidays. You probably spent time with family. Oh, I love her. Right? Blaise Pascal said that God made us in his image and we tried to return the favor. And often we'll look at God and ascribe to him our own traits. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a love, like a relationship love, like I have with my wife, Christina. I love her, but I also like her. I like to be with her. I enjoy my days off when we go spend money and go out to eat and take our 1-year-old. You see, I love my little girl, Kaylin, but I also like her. I love my mama, but I like her. Do you see the pattern? Do you believe that God the Father likes you? Or as one author says, dances with joy at the mere sight of your presence. Do you believe it? Because it's true. God doesn't love you and then smack his forehead and say, I love him. I don't have another choice. No, God says, I love them with all their stuff. And God the Father, who created the universe in 6 days and took a carnival cruise on the 7th, likes to be with you and enjoys your presence. Take about 5 seconds to let that settle in. He enjoys your presence. Cecil Murphy, in his wonderful book, says that the very essence of God are thoughts of me. And so that day, as that woman stood there, and we can relate to her. We can also relate to the Pharisees and scribes, I'm sure. We've all cast a few judgments in our life. But we can relate to that adulterous woman who made horrendous decisions with her life. Maybe she was tricked, maybe she wasn't. But the moment Jesus said, I condemn you not, she was clean. And she walked away different.